Picture this. You're at a restaurant, and instead of enjoying your meal, you're mentally calculating the calories on your plate. You're tallying up numbers, feeling the weight of each bite you take. It's a struggle that many of us are all too familiar with. The daily grind of calorie counting. It's a game of constant tracking, estimating portion sizes, and dealing with potential inaccuracies. And let's not forget the mental stress and guilt that often comes with it. But what if there was a simpler way, an alternative that doesn't require you to play the numbers game with your food? Well, there is. It's called intermittent fasting, a lifestyle shift that focuses on when you eat, rather than obsessing over what and how much. If you're tired of playing the numbers game with your food, keep listening. There's a simpler way to lose weight, and it's called intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting isn't a diet, it's a pattern of eating. It's all about when you eat, not what you eat. In essence, intermittent fasting is an eating regimen that cycles between periods of eating and fasting. It doesn't specify which foods to eat, but rather when you should eat. Now let's delve into some of the popular methods of intermittent fasting. First, we have the 16-8 method. This involves fasting for 16 hours each day and restricting your eating window to 8 hours. For example, you could choose to eat between noon and 8 in the evening, effectively skipping breakfast. Next up is the 5-2 method. In this approach, you eat normally for 5 days of the week and restrict your calorie intake to 500 to 600 calories for the other 2 days. Finally, there's the warrior diet. This involves eating small amounts of raw fruits and vegetables during the day and then eating one huge meal at night, essentially fasting for most of the day and feasting at night within a 4-hour window. The beauty of intermittent fasting lies in its flexibility. You can adjust the fasting and eating windows to suit your lifestyle. If you're not a breakfast person, the 16-8 method might work well for you. If you prefer a more extreme approach, you might opt for the warrior diet. Remember, the goal here is to create a sustainable pattern of eating that can help you lose fat without the struggle of counting every calorie. It's about making a lifestyle change rather than following a strict diet. And let's not forget, while intermittent fasting can be a powerful tool for weight loss, it's not a magic bullet. It's most effective when combined with other healthy habits like regular exercise and a balanced diet. Intermittent fasting is flexible, adaptable, and can fit into almost any lifestyle. So, are you ready to give it a shot? Let's explore more about this revolutionary approach to eating in the next scenes. Stay tuned. One of the key reasons why intermittent fasting works is because of how it impacts your hormones. Now let's delve into how this happens. When you fast, several things happen in your body on the cellular and molecular level. For instance, your body adjusts hormone levels to make stored body fat more accessible. The primary hormones impacted by fasting are insulin, growth hormone, and norepinephrine. Firstly, let's discuss insulin. Insulin is a hormone that allows cells to take in glucose. When you eat, insulin levels rise, helping your body store excess glucose for later use. Now, when you fast, you're not taking in any glucose, so your insulin levels drop. This drop signals your body to start burning the stored fat for energy. Secondly, we have the growth hormone. This hormone facilitates fat burning and muscle gain, among other things. Studies have shown that fasting can cause a significant increase in growth hormone levels, which aids in fat loss and muscle preservation. Lastly, we have norepinephrine, often referred to as the fight or flight hormone. When you fast, the levels of norepinephrine in your bloodstream increase. This hormone travels to your fat cells, signaling them to break down fat, which is then released into your bloodstream to be used as energy. So what's the takeaway here? Fasting triggers a sort of hormonal cocktail that primes your body for fat loss. It decreases insulin levels, increases growth hormone levels, and boosts the amount of norepinephrine in your system. All these changes facilitate the breakdown of body fat and its use for energy. And the best part, you don't have to obsess over counting every calorie. By simply changing when you eat, you can harness your body's hormones to work for you, not against you. This, in essence, is the hormonal magic of intermittent fasting. You might be wondering, how does fasting compare to traditional calorie restriction? A valid question indeed. Both methods aim at reducing calorie intake to promote weight loss, but they approach this goal from different angles. Calorie restriction as the name suggests, revolves around reducing the number of calories you consume each day. This method requires meticulous tracking of every bite and sip, turning eating into a mathematical equation. It can lead to successful weight loss, but it's often a challenging journey. Constant hunger, nutrient deficiencies, and the risk of rebound weight gain are just a few potential pitfalls. Now let's consider fasting. Specifically intermittent fasting. Rather than dictating what to eat, fasting focuses on when to eat. It's about cycling between periods of eating and fasting. This pattern might sound daunting, but remember, you're already fasting every night while you sleep. The beauty of fasting lies in its simplicity. There's no need to constantly tally up calories or fret over food labels. Instead, you set your eating and fasting windows and stick to them. This approach can make fasting more sustainable for many people. It's less about restriction and more about rhythm. But what about the weight loss? Well, fasting has been shown to promote fat loss, just like calorie restriction. However, fasting has an added advantage. It triggers a metabolic switch, shifting your body from using glucose to using stored fat as its primary energy source. This switch can enhance fat loss and improve metabolic health. Moreover, fasting has a unique effect on our hormones. It can increase the levels of growth hormone, which aids in fat loss and muscle gain. It can also decrease insulin levels, helping the body to burn fat more efficiently. In the end, both calorie restriction and fasting can lead to weight loss. But for many, the simplicity and flexibility of fasting make it a more sustainable option. It's about finding a balance that works for your lifestyle, your goals, and your body. Fasting is not just about eating less, it's about eating less often. So if you're tired of counting every calorie, maybe it's time to watch the clock instead. Still not convinced? Let's hear from some people who've seen success with intermittent fasting. Meet Sarah, a busy mum who struggled with traditional diets for years. She had tried everything from calorie counting to meal replacement shakes, but nothing seemed to stick. Then Sarah discovered intermittent fasting. She adapted the 16-8 method, where she fasted for 16 hours and ate during an 8-hour window. Sarah loved that she didn't have to obsess over every calorie, and she could still enjoy her favorite foods in moderation. Within 6 months, she lost an impressive 30 pounds and gained a new sense of self-confidence. Next up, we have John, a fitness enthusiast who hit a plateau with his weight loss. Despite regular exercise and a healthy diet, the scale just wouldn't budge. John decided to give the warrior diet a go, where he fasted for 20 hours and ate during a 4-hour window. The result? John broke through his plateau, lost an additional 20 pounds, and achieved the lean physique he'd been striving for. And let's not forget about Emma, a corporate executive who was constantly on the go. With her hectic schedule, counting calories or sticking to a diet plan was simply not feasible. On a friend's recommendation, she tried the 5-2 method of intermittent fasting, eating normally for 5 days and restricting her calorie intake for 2. Emma not only lost weight, but also reported increased energy levels and improved focus at work. These are just a few examples of the many success stories out there. What's common between Sarah, John, and Emma? They all found a method of intermittent fasting that worked for them, they stuck with it, and they saw incredible results. But remember, what worked for them might not work for you. The key is to find a fasting routine that fits into your lifestyle and is sustainable in the long run. These are everyday people just like you who've transformed their bodies and their lives with intermittent fasting. Now that you're interested, let's dive deeper into the different fasting protocols. There are several fasting protocols within the intermittent fasting lifestyle, each with its own potential benefits. First, the 16-8 method, perhaps the most popular fasting protocol. This involves fasting for 16 hours each day and limiting your eating window to 8 hours. This method is perfect for those who prefer to skip breakfast and eat in the afternoon or evening. Next, we have the 5-2 method. This protocol involves eating normally for 5 days of the week, then significantly reducing your calorie intake for the remaining 2 days. This could be a good fit for people who find daily fasting too restrictive. Then there's the warrior diet, a more extreme protocol. This involves fasting for 20 hours of the day and eating one large meal in the evening. This might appeal to those who prefer to consume all their daily calories in one sitting. The Eat Stop Eat method is another approach. This involves a 24-hour fast once or twice a week. It's a bit more challenging, but it can be effective for those who can manage longer periods without eating. Finally, we have the alternate day fasting protocol. This involves alternating days of regular eating with days of complete fasting or very low calorie intake. This method can be quite challenging but could potentially lead to greater weight loss results. Each of these methods has its own benefits. For example, the 16-8 method is often seen as more sustainable for long-term adherence, while the 5-2 method can provide a greater sense of freedom during the normal eating days. The warrior diet, on the other hand, can lead to a greater sense of satisfaction after the daily meal, while the eat-stop-eat and alternate day fasting methods can potentially lead to faster weight loss. However, it's crucial to remember that the best fasting protocol is not necessarily the one that leads to the fastest weight loss. Instead, it's the one that fits into your lifestyle, that you find manageable and that you can stick to. Remember, the best fasting protocol is the one that fits into your lifestyle and that you can stick to. So, what do you eat when you're not fasting, I hear you ask? Well, the beauty of intermittent fasting lies not just in when you eat, but also what you consume during your eating window. Yes, that's right, it's not a free pass to binge on junk food. Instead, it's an opportunity to nourish your body with nutrient-dense foods that will keep you feeling satisfied while also aiding in your weight loss journey. Let's start with breakfast, or should we say breakfast. The first meal after your fasting period is crucial. It sets the tone for the rest of your eating window. Opt for a balanced meal rich with proteins, whole grains, and healthy fats. How about a beautiful bowl of oatmeal, jazzed up with some fresh fruits and a sprinkle of chia seeds, or a loaded veggie omelette with a side of whole grain toast? Lunch and dinner can be equally exciting. Think bright, colorful salads loaded with leafy greens, crunchy vegetables, lean proteins, and a drizzle of olive oil. Or a hearty bowl of grilled chicken with quinoa and roasted veggies. You could also explore the world of stir-fries, wraps, and stews. Remember, variety is the spice of life, and the more diverse your meals are, the more different nutrients you'll get. And what about snacks, you ask? Well, snacks can be your best friends or your worst enemies. Choose wisely, and they can tide you over between meals, keeping those hunger pangs at bay. Think Greek yogurt with a handful of nuts, a piece of fruit, or a smoothie made with your favorite fruits and a spoonful of almond butter. However, the emphasis here isn't just on what you eat, but also on how much. Portion control is key. It's easy to overeat even when you're consuming healthy foods. So keep an eye on your serving sizes and listen to your body's hunger and fullness cues. So there you have it, a plethora of meal suggestions to keep you nourished and satisfied during your eating window. But remember, intermittent fasting is not just about when you eat, but also about what and how much you eat. Nutrition is still key. Intermittent fasting isn't an excuse to binge on junk food during your eating window. What about exercise? Can you still work out while fasting? Absolutely, you can. Physical activity plays a key role in an intermittent fasting lifestyle, enhancing fat loss and overall health. While fasting, your body switches to fat for fuel, which can boost your energy and endurance levels. This makes your workouts more effective and efficient. Remember, though, that the best time to exercise depends on your personal preference and schedule. Some people prefer to work out in a fasted state to maximize fat burning, while others find they need a meal beforehand to fuel their workouts. Both approaches have their merits. Also, it's essential to stay hydrated and replenish your electrolytes, especially during longer workouts. This helps to prevent dizziness, fatigue, and other potential side effects. Lastly, ensure that you're getting enough protein in your eating window to support muscle recovery and growth. Exercise and fasting can go hand in hand, but as always, listen to your body. Before you dive headfirst into intermittent fasting, it's important to consider your health. This is not a one-size-fits-all solution, and it's crucial to understand that what works for one person may not necessarily work for another. If you're considering adopting an intermittent fasting lifestyle, the first step is to consult with a healthcare professional. This could be your doctor, a nutritionist, or a registered dietitian. They can help assess your individual health needs, considering your medical history, current health status, and personal goals. Certain medical conditions may require special consideration. For instance, people with diabetes, low blood pressure, or those who are pregnant or breastfeeding may need to approach intermittent fasting differently or avoid it altogether. Remember, the goal of intermittent fasting is not just about losing weight. It's about improving overall health and wellness. So don't rush. Take your time to understand how it works and how it can fit into your lifestyle. Intermittent fasting can be a powerful tool for fat loss, but like any tool, it needs to be used properly. That's the end of our journey through intermittent fasting today. If you found this enlightening and think it could help others on their path to a healthier lifestyle, kindly give this video a like, subscribe to our channel and share it around. We're eager to hear your thoughts, so don't hesitate to drop any questions or feedback in the comments section. Remember, your journey to a healthier you starts with one step. Could intermittent fasting be that step? You decide.